5 years ago, I walked into my GP surgery and I explained to him that I'd been out of work for several months and I was feeling anxious and depressed. I was in my early 50s. I was wondering whether I'd ever work again. Well, he was very sympathetic, but what could he actually do? He could offer me medication. I asked if there were any support groups, and he said, "No, well, we don't do that kind of thing." And he couldn't put me in touch with anybody else because of confidentiality. I went away and I thought, there's got to be a better way than this. So I went home and, having spent a career in computers, I did what most people do now. I searched the internet. It was deeply depressing. Out-of-date and confusing information, phone numbers that no longer existed, organisations that had changed name. It made me even more anxious and depressed. Why am I telling you this? Well, it's to show that what comes next arose out of a real requirement. So here's the homepage of the new CPFT website. It replaces the old website at cpft.nhs.uk. It's now far less concerned with CPFT as a corporate entity, and it's much more focused on helping users find the information they need. I'll go back to the homepage in a minute. It tries to service the needs of many different types of user, but today I'll focus on just the GP pages. First, a bit of introduction. The front page and some of the others have this carousel arrangement. Press the arrows and it goes round. There are 21 images in the carousel that will take you to different pages when you click on them. It's unashamedly modelled on the BBC website, which has had a lot of usability testing. At the top, you'll see different sections for different users. About Us is for the old corporate content. Find Help is for anybody. Then there are sections for carers and professionals. The menus at the top always address different user types. Let's button on Professionals. You'll see some new images in the carousel as new content gets posted to the website, but the menus always stay the same. The page for Professionals also has a carousel that you can spin round. At the top, you'll see the second level menu in blue, again with different user types. This time they're GPs, primary care, local authorities, criminal justice and researchers. GPs also happen to be in the large image on the carousel with referrals by GPs in one of the smaller images. Select GPs and you arrive at this page. In the 7 minutes or so that you have with a patient, what do you need to find out most? I'm guessing a bit at this stage, and I'm quite happy to rework it in response to feedback, but I would say that you mainly want to know what services are available and how do you refer people to them. So let's take those in turn. There's a link in the left-hand menu to CPFT services, but there's also a link at the top of the page which goes to all of the services. Everything in orange, by the way, is a clickable link. So, what services are available and what are your requirements? Probably you want to be able to see services for mild to moderate conditions and reactive conditions and services for severe and enduring conditions. You want to be able to see everything that's available and to be able to offer some choice. And also you might want to be able to put together an integrated package of support from several services. So let's see what you get when you look for services. This page lets you search for services across the board, both CPFT services and local and national services from other organisations, the voluntary sector, charities and social enterprises. You can do a free text search across all services. You can search just for CPFT services from the drop-down menus at the bottom, or below that you can search for services from other providers. The searches at the bottom allow you to search by type of service and by location, for example Cambridge. Let's try a free text search. These are the search results on the word alcohol. and it returns a list of pages in the service directory that are related to alcohol. So for example, I can see Alcoholics Anonymous and the Addaction Alcohol Service and DrinkSense. These are services from other providers, but there are also links to CPFT services. Let's click on one of these and look at the service directory entry. This is just one of about 260 service directory entries on the site covering topics from anxiety, bereavement, depression, self-harm, all the way through to well-being. There's a description of the service at the top of the page. On the left at the top there are blue buttons which are keywords associated with that page, and you can click on those and see related information. In the orange menu on the left-hand side there are other services listed. And the entry itself has a set of standard headings. Here's the bottom of the same page. The standard headings here cover how to access the service. There's a map. Many of the services are local, and it's free. There's also other information to help both GPs and anybody else for that matter assess the appropriateness of the services for their needs. And referral is easy. Just print out the page and give it to the patient, or email it to them. CPFT services follow the same format as the services from other providers, except that they tend to be a little bit more detailed, and many have clickable links to other CPFT service-specific web pages. Referral is a bit more complicated at the moment, especially in Cambridge. If you're accessing the website from a computer connected to the NHS N3 network, as GPs often do, then on every page you'll see a section with a blue background. This contains information specific to health professionals. Here's a page that summarises the referral routes. Unfortunately, this is still rather complicated in Cambridge, but it will change. In Peterborough, we have opened the Advice and Referral Centre. This has reduced the previous 34 points of access to CPFT services to just one, a single phone number and a single email address. The referral details into the ARC, the Advice and Referral Centre, are also in the NHS only section because it's not yet open to the public. But the rollout plan is, by next spring, ARC will be a single point of access to GPs in Cambridge also, and within a year will provide public access to the ARC. So to summarise, there are about 260 services listed in total. About 70 are CPFT services and about 190 are services from other providers. These other providers have been selected, but we're working at the moment on how exactly to apply some form of quality control and review mechanisms. Many of these services are online. They don't have a physical presence, services like Moodscope, Big White Wall for example. The advantage of course is that people can access these services anonymously and in their own homes. Unfortunately, for my workload at least, GPs are just one user group. Here's the section that targets the general public, with separate sections for children, young people, adults and older people. Anyway, the website is now live at cpft.nhs.uk, and the ARC is live in Peterborough and has already taken several hundred inquiries. The site has many other features that we can go into at a different time. For example, the Listen button will speak the text out loud, and there's automatic Google translation of pages. Here, for example, is the Addaction page in Urdu. So let's leave this now with a list of the unique selling points for the site, which I hope will encourage you to take a further look.